Hey guys, so a couple of weeks ago I was contacted by JEANFRANCOISCD on YouTube, and he asked me if I wanted to participate in his Naughty or Nice Christmas series that he does. When I watched this series last year, I remember thinking, oh, I want him to ask me. So when he did ask me to participate this year, I was actually really excited. And the whole thing behind the series is JEANFRANCOISCD, and if you haven't watched his videos, do check them out. I know I mentioned him before. He's incredibly talented. And the idea is that you're creating a naughty look or a nice look, and the guest gets to choose, and then he does the counterpart. I chose a naughty look, if you can't tell, and my inspiration for this was I wanted to do this sort of ice witch, this snow queen, evil queen ice thing. And so I didn't want to go with the traditional like pale blues and icy blues that you would think of when you're doing a look like this. Instead, I was sort of trying to think about like quartz crystals and rose quartz and these sort of icy looking things that aren't actually ice, and all of the different colors that they kind of flash about. So I don't know, that was my my inspiration anyway, and then from there we just sort of did this whole thing. And of course, no ice queen would be complete without a crown, and at the end of the video you'll see me pull this thing out. This is just a paper crown that I made. It's actually a mask. It's a blank plastic mask from any party supply store, and I took pieces of paper, cut them into strips, curled them, and then just glued them to this thing. And I have to say, for only spending like, I think 2 hours on this thing, I know it looks really goofy because it's huge, but I really think it's kind of cool. Alright guys, so I start this look with sort of a primer base combo. I'm going to start off with Lancome's The Base Primer, and then use MAC's Airbrush Foundation without an airbrush, and just apply it with my hands. This kind of adds a little bit of a tint to the skin, but also is an added kind of keeping your skin from breathing sort of a base that you want whenever you're doing something this heavy. Next is Kryolan's Brow Wax, just to sort of lay the brows down a little bit. And then I'm going to use MAC's Full Coverage Foundation in some custom mixed shade. I have no clue what it is, but it matches my skin, and I'm applying this all over my face, and then going in with face and body, or I mean full coverage foundation, excuse me, in white, and adding it to the highlight points of the face. This is sort of a soft drag. It's still quite a bit of highlighting and contouring, much more than you would do normally, but it's not full-on really extreme drag. And I'm not worrying about the contour on the side of the eyes, because I'm actually going to go in with eyeshadow and do that later. But you can see here I'm just using more full coverage foundation and blending. I blend it out with my fingers. Lots of people use brushes. You can use brushes. I like to do a lot of stuff with my hands though. A little bit more over the brows just to kind of block them out a little bit, and that's kind of pretty much it for the face. After that, we just add a little more contour to the jawline, and then you're good. Setting this with powder, this is Studio Fix powder in white over the highlight areas. Flip the puff around, and then Studio Fix powder in NW20 in the contour areas and the rest of the face, kind of buffing it in and blending everything together. I'm going to then use MAC's Sculpting powder to go over those contour areas that I did before, just to make sure that they're really dark. I also do it around the hairline, just kind of adds a little bit of a even more three-dimensional look to the face. That's Full Fuchsia Blush by MAC, and I'm just going in right above the contour line and bringing it just a little bit into the apples of the cheeks to add the blush, and that really completes the I would say like the base look that you'd have for this. Next, we're going to be starting on the eyes. Now, I mapped this out using an angled brush and a gray eyeshadow, so that if I make mistakes, I can kind of sweep it away before I go in and actually use the Chromaline, which is what I'm going to be using. This is MAC's Chromaline in Black, tracing over those gray lines and filling this in. It's a very dramatic kind of eyeliner look. And on the bottom lid, not all the way across, you can if you want, but I kind of wanted to make the eye look really big and open, so I just did a little bit. This is just excess powder because I'm going to be going in with a lot of black, and if there's anything falling on the foundation, it's going to mess it all up. Using any kind of a straight edge, this is my contour for around the eyes. There's a lot of gray, a lot of black, a lot of purple, and then of course the curtain falls down. Once you get your set put back together, this is what you should have, something that looks like this. If you mess up at all, you can always clean up those edges with a little bit of concealer. Now I'm going to speed this up because there is just a heck of a lot of layering here, and I don't pay too much attention to the names of products that I use when I'm working like this. I'm just grabbing stuff and layering and building washes of different colors. And once the sort of shape is done, I can go in and do the brows, which you'll see me do in a second. Same technique as the eyeliner. This is a gray eyeshadow just to sort of map out where I want those brows to be. Then MAC's paint stick in white as kind of a base and a highlight under the brow, and then MAC's Pigment in platinum. That's very hard for me to say. Once that's down, then I go in with even more fun stuff and start adding glitter. This is a lot of Reflects Pearl, Reflects Gold, Reflects Transparent Teal, and then once you've got all that on, you can go in with the liner on the brows, and that's kind of what you end up with. Very dramatic. Lashes. I do tops and bottoms. The bottom lashes, again, follow that eyeliner line, and they're just sort of spiky little lashes. These Makeup Forever lashes are actually, they were a full feather that I cut these lashes in half and then glued them to the ends of 2 lashes by Ardell. So this is actually, technically it's 4 lashes on top of one another. These things were really, really stiff. And just make sure when you're working with big heavy lashes like that that you really work to tilt them upward, because they do have a tendency to droop and sag, and they may make you look kind of sad. Next is the, well, last really is the lips. I'm using platinum pigment and a lip base. I just made the lip base myself. It's just shea butter, cocoa butter, and some other ingredients, just kind of a mixing medium. And fill in the lips. After you get them all filled in, I go in with a black eye pencil and add contour. I talked about doing this a couple videos ago with red lipstick. This is basically the same technique. You can actually see it even more in here because I'm using gray lipstick basically. Again, cleaning up the edges with a little bit of concealer, just a nice trick to help. And then platinum pigment, a little bit of glitter on the lips, and that's pretty much the final look. Not much else to do except, obviously, a little more glitter. You can never really have enough. And then, of course, the crown. You'll notice too, a lot of the makeup, it's not that complicated once you get the outline down. I'm not doing a whole lot of detail work with the shadows. These are really just washes of color, which is kind of, I would say it's sort of a signature look of mine. Just not really following much of a line and just adding big swatches of color all over the skin. But it does look pretty. I was actually pleased with this when I was done. So that's it. I hope you guys really liked this, and if you have any questions, anything like that, please leave them in the comment section. I'll do my best to get back to you. Check out Jean-Francois' video. It's really, really cool. And until I see you next time, which will be soon, take care and drive safe.